All right, guys. So today we're going to be going over trend lines and why you should use trend lines and just how to identify them in general, right? So when it comes to trend lines, right? Let's go to one. Let's start. When it comes to trend line, to make a valid trend line, no matter what, it needs to touch the trend line 3 times. Three times minimum. Anything over 3 times is even better, but 3 times minimum, guys. Keep this in mind. So write this in your notes. To be a valid trend line, it has to touch at least 3 times minimum. Now, not every trend line is going to be perfect. Not every trend line is going to be pretty. Not every trend line is going to be, the best trend line. But as a trader, you just want to identify them and you want to trade the best ones. So there's different type of trend lines. So we're going to draw one here. So you have trend lines that go down like this, right? We have trend lines that go across. We have trend lines that go through stuff like this. We have trend lines that pretty much do whatever that you think it's supposed to do, right? So that's what you want to do. You want it, but you want to have it touch at least 3 times. So let's draw some examples. So we had it bounce 1, 2, come back up, and bounce 3, right? So we got 1, 2, and 3. That will cause it a valid trend line. Let's do another example here. Right? 1, 2, and 3. Pretty much the same way. So as long as it touched 3 times, you have a valid trend line, right? Let's see. All right, so let's get started. So when identifying trend lines, you're going to have to practice it, guys. No, you're not going to be perfect at it right off rip. You're not going to be perfect at it. You got to practice it and draw things that make sense. So right now, I'm looking to see, I'm going to see if we can have a trend line from here to here. Let's see. Right? All right. So would this be a valid trend line, guys? Right here, just from looking at it? Yes, right? Why is it a valid trend line? All right, because it touched 3 times. What about all of this? What about all of this? What about the stuff that it like when it broke down at? What about that? Does that still count? All right, and I'm gonna tell you why it count though, right? So the reason why this counts is first of all, in this trend line, nothing actually, we never had a full candle to close below it, right? Look at it. So you see here, we got like an actual candle to close below, but we wanted a full candle to be under that trend line to now make it invalid, right? So here, now the trend line is finally broken because we finally had candles close below. So now the trend line is finally broken, and now you make a new one. But their whole goal is for it to touch at least 3 times. So just keep that in mind, right? So every time you have trading opportunities when it comes to trend lines, right? When it comes to a trend line, what you can do is you can take calls at these bounces. So as you see, every time it touches that trend line, it gives you a buying opportunity. Every time it touches, buying opportunity. Every time it touches, buying opportunity. Every time it touches, buying opportunity, right? And eventually, you guys, you're going to have your losses on these trend lines or whatever. But overall, if you take it most of the time, you're pretty much going to have a very good chance of winning, right? So there's different ways. So when it comes to trend lines, you can either buy bounces off of trend lines, you can do trend line rejections, you can do trend line breaks, and we're gonna get into all of these today. So does this make sense so far as trend lines? Do you always draw trend lines at the bottom of candles? Yes. Now sometimes you have to pierce through some, but that's totally fine. But that's literally like the main simple one, right? So now this is the 4 hour. My bad. I ain't even have it on the daily. It might look a little better on the daily. Yeah, it looks way better on the daily, right? So right here, we had a bounce, 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 and then this is kind of where I thought we were going to bounce it yesterday, but as you can see, it didn't bounce. It just cut right through it. So, but that happens. But overall, if you would have took this trend line, any other time it would have worked. So that one time it didn't work, that's fine. See, the problem is with a lot of people is, they trade these things, and then when it don't work that one time, then they just throw it out. You know what I mean? Right? Is it the wicks always included? I mean, you want to include the bottom of the candle, but as you're drawing your trend line, right? You don't, if you want to draw it to where it makes sense, right? Don't complicate making trend lines. It makes sense here. If I were to bring it down here, hold on. If I were to bring it down here to touch this wick, It just kind of right there. It kind of would have touched. Let me see. I guess you can call that a new trend line. It could be starting a new trend line. Hold on. I haven't drew this I haven't drew this one. I haven't looked at this trend line. SPY could be starting a new trend line. Let's see real quick. Actually could. So yeah, we just made a new trend line on SPY, and it's literally that simple. I didn't see that. So yeah, this can be a valid trend line. So you're gonna have to keep playing with them, right? As that trend line is now broken, now you try to see if you can draw a new one. So right here, we have 1 touch, 2 touches, and now this will be our 3rd touch. So tomorrow we'll tell if it's going to bounce or is it going to keep breaking down, right? Do you use channels at all? Yeah, I use channels, not as much, but yeah, I use channels as well. So that is a example of trend lines at the bottom. So you want to have at least 3 touches. In this example, if the candle closed below the trend line, yes, it's then invalidated, right? And then you can see if you can make a new one. You see how we just invalidated that first trend line and then we started a new one? Hold on, let me make this one smaller. We made this one a new one, right? Now we got a whole new trend line going on after this candle closed below and validated that first trend line. Does that make sense? So with trend lines, you're going to have to like keep changing them and keep drawing them. But overall, guys, don't overcomplicate it, right? If prices touches a trend line more than a couple of times, it's a valid trend line, right? What time frame do you? Okay, so I'm about to get to that. So the next question is, what time frame do I draw trend lines on? Trend lines can be on any time frame, any time frame. It does not matter. I draw them on every single time frame. If I'm trading on the 1 hour, if I'm trading on the 4 hour, daily, 5 minute, not really the 1 minute too much, but 5 minute, 15 minute, whatever. Wherever price likes to bounce off of, I try to draw trend lines, right? So let's get into it. Let's go to another good one. So you get an example of trend line rejections. So trend line rejections. Let's go over this one. Okay. And I know y'all tired of probably seeing this one. Oh, look at class. Oh, real quick. I know this is a little off topic. Remember yesterday in class? Not yesterday, the class before that. What did I say? What did I say in class? Just real quick. I just want to jog y'all memory and see if y'all can remember about this bear flag on AMD. What did I say? How did I know AMD was still gonna drop? We literally just had this in class. Let's see if anybody can remember. There we go. The flag, the bottom of the flag is like a magnet, guys. Look, you see it here. You see it here. We've been calling this up here. So look at it now. Like I'll be trying to tell y'all, like, don't complicate trading. I'm trying to tell y'all, like, we've been saying this since it was all the way here. I was like, the bottom of this bear flag is here. AMD is going down to 83. I've been saying this. The bottom of the flag is a magnet, right? It's literally like it's that simple. But anyways, let's get off the top. I mean, let's not get off topic, but let's go. All right, so okay. So now we're about to do trend line rejections. This is my favorite type of thing to do is trend line rejections, especially in the market that we're in right now. Do you ever trade solely trend line breaks and rejections, or do you try to find a pattern? Okay, so it depends. A lot of times, depending on the type of thing that you will have like a pattern at the trend line, or sometimes I just trade solely off of just the trend line bouncing. It literally just depends. So real quick, let's go to the weekly. So let's start with the weekly, right? So your job to identify trend lines is just to find where price, if you draw something, hold on. If you draw something, see where price touched the most times, right? Don't confuse it, guys. Just go on your charts. You're going to have homework over this. Go on your charts. Try to draw trend lines, right? There we go. Price rejected 3 times now. It's rejected more than 3. But then you go see if it actually touched, right? We got a touch here, a touch here. You can count that. Like if it's that close, guys, if it's that close, you can go ahead and count it. It touched here and then touched here, right? Do everybody see this trend line, right? Do it count? Do this count as a trend line, right? Is a trend line invalid? Can we use this trend line? Can we still use it? Can we still use it? Right. So like, let's say what's next? All right. So let's extend it. Let's extend it now. So in the future, if price reaches back to this trend line, it's going to do 2 things, right? It's going to come back to this trend line. Damn. Hold on, y'all. This making me bad. This damn thing making me mad. So price can do two things, right? Price can come back, hit this trend line, reject again, or price can break out, right? And do something like that. Now, that's why I said trend lines are like so slept on. And I don't know why a lot of traders don't utilize them because they offer so many buying opportunities, right? I want to show y'all something about trend lines, right? And there's different ways. And I know we're not getting off a topic. I'm about to just show you how, if you're not using trend lines, I don't know what you're doing. Because look, I'm finna show you what I sent in the mentorship before all of this even happened, right? I'm finna show y'all a play before I knew that spot was gonna keep going down, right? I'm finna give y'all the trend line right here. So let me show y'all something. And y'all gonna get into these trend lines at a later date, but let me show y'all something, right? Look at this. So we had a touch here. We had touches here. And then we had this one was a little harder, but it had just broke down. But overall, we had pretty much 3 touches. But hold on, I'm about to show y'all why trend lines are so crazy is because I literally signal puts. I'm telling y'all right now, they could tell you, I literally signal puts at this right here. I signal puts. I was like, hey, y'all, we broke the trend line now. Y'all see that? We broke it, retested it. And right here before all of this happened, I signaled puts at the top and everybody was looking at me like, Jay, you crazy as hell. Why are you signaling puts? Why the hell are you signaling puts? We running up. I'm like, nah, look at this, right? Look at it, right? It rejected. Everybody was looking at me crazy when it went 1,000%, right? And that is what I'm talking about, guys. This is why trend lines, if you're not using them, I don't know what you're doing, right? Trend lines it literally gives you that extra confirmation that you need to take these trades. So that's exactly what I did. Trend line, that's why you have to understand them. So that was just a quick example of what I was showing you, as far as trend lines. But you can have break and retest. What was the other one, guys? I think it was HD. If I can believe it was it HD? No, it was AAL. It was AAL. So I'm about to draw y'all a couple examples. So let's delete this. Hold on. Just real quick. So I'm just showing y'all different trend lines, right? What caused you to draw that line slanted and not vertical slope? Let me see if I show you like this, maybe you will see it a little better. Okay. So yes, it's literally like supporting resistance. That's all trend lines is. It's another way of supporting resistance. So look. So I'm trying to get here. Okay. So, and then you have trend lines like this where price to touch. And I know this is a little more advanced, guys, but let me help you get through it, right? So right here, I'm just looking to see, and it's going to take time. If this look confusing to you right now, give it some time, guys. It was confusing as hell to me too, right? But after you do it and just practice for so many times, you will see, right? So let's go here. Let's zoom in. We got simple trend lines and then we got complicated ones. I'm showing y'all all of them tonight. And we're going to sit on here until everybody understand it. Right? So this is another trend line that we took. We wanted 3 touches. Just memorize the characteristics, right? So look, how many touches did we have, guys? Is this valid? Is there a passcode for Zoom? No, you just send them the link. Is it valid, right? It has 3 of them. It has 3 touches. It touched 3 times. So this is another way how I trade trend lines, right? Look, we had 3 touches. 1, 2, 3, right? And then it ended up breaking down, right? That's where you use your other confluences, where we're going to bounce or where we're going to keep going. The other confluences that we have where I'm finna zoom in real quick. I'm giving y'all different ways to trade trend lines. Okay, so let's zoom in real quick so you can kind of see, because you're not supposed to you don't just trade anything solely, right? You always want to have some type of confluence to go with it so you can kind of predict where you think the stock is going, right? So look, what do we have in here, guys? We had a couple of things. We had a depth cross What are our stochastics doing? Look at that. What is it doing? Look at this indicator right here. What is it doing? What did it do? It death cross, right? We had our EMAs death crossing, right? What else is in here? What else is in here? I won't say a balance period, but we had some consolidation. But what else? Remember what I told this when we first started talking. Ooh, somebody said it, head and shoulders. Oh no, I'm not gonna teach that. I ain't gonna call that one the head and shoulders. But we had remember I told you guys when we first started, right? The move that it makes, what happens? The move that it makes, what happens after the move that it makes, right? The move that it makes, normally what? Right? The move that it makes. So it made a move down. We had a consolidation, right? So the move that it makes is normally what happens, right? The move that it makes before it gets to that consolidation is normally the move that happens again. So normally we have an impulsive move down, correction, impulse, right? So look at all your confluences, guys. Look at all your confluences. You had your trend line, you had the stochastic indicator. Before you break, it was already showing you that momentum is slowing to the downside. We had a consolidation period, and then we had a death cross right before the break. Take it down. How much more do you need, guys? Look, how much more confirmation do you need? It gave it to you. It gave you this trade. It gave it to you. That's another way to trade trend lines, right? You got the bounces, and then if a trend line, I'm gonna tell you this right now. If a trend line, especially this size on a daily time frame, if it breaks down, it's going to break down. Like it's not about to be no little bitty break, right? A big time frame trend line that breaks is not about to be little, guys. Yes, I only use the 9 EMA and the 21 EMA. My blue one is the 9 and my 21 is the orange one, right? That's another way. When there's a consolidation, the move that it usually makes. Yep, continuation, yep. And I'm not saying, nothing is 100% in the market, but normally, you got to think in terms of impulse, correction, impulse, right? So if we have an impulsive move up, we normally going to have a correction, and then we're going to have another impulsive move up, right? Continuation. So you have to treat it the same way when it comes to down. You have a move down, correction, another move down, right? So that's what we had here, right? And that's what I've been telling them. Now, there's going to be some times where it won't do that. Sometimes it might make an impulsive move down, correction, and then it might come up, right? But guess what? That's where you understand your stop losses, your risk management, and if it happens, it happens. You have to start understanding, guys. You trade the right way, you're going to be fine, right? If you trade, like, it's a good thing as good losses, and it's a good thing as bad losses. If you had seen an impulsive move down, consolidation, and you took the break here, and it just happened to break back in, that's totally fine. That was a good loss, guys. That was a great loss. That was a great loss. I will not be mad at you if something like that happens, right? I will not be mad at you. So let's go look at another example of this real quick. Just real quick while we on this one right here. Let's go look at another good example of something that just happened today, right? So yesterday I told you guys I wanted SPY to break this range, right? Okay, so we had this little 4-hour range on SPY right here. That's where it started. We had this little 4-hour range. Do everybody see this range? Everybody see that range, right? So the move that it made down, we had a impulsive move down, right? Correction, impulse, right? And that's how we could finally knew that it was going down. Now, what about this one though? That's why I say it won't always happen, guys. We had an impulsive move up, correction, and then we got an impulsive move down, right? So you have to just kind of just really wait until, it breaks and kind of just trade it that way. You're never going to be perfect, right? But there were other confirmations to tell you that this was coming down in the first place. How would you know to take puts at the first impulsive move down on the previous pick, this same pick? On this same pick, you wait till the break. You wait till the break. Because guess what? What I say, we don't trade in what, guys? We don't trade in what? Chop. We don't trade in whatever. What is it called? What is the actual name? Range. Hold on. Yeah, y'all kind of saying all it is. Balance, right? We don't trade in balance periods. Price were balanced in this area. We don't trade in this. So once it actually broke, it rejected our 21 EMA. Once it broke down, then you could have been able to take entries as it closed below. Me personally, the market had been so choppy, guys. So I'm not even gonna lie to you. The market had been so choppy. So actually, I didn't even trade. I didn't catch this right here. I didn't catch that. I waited for us to close, right? I waited for us to close, and then we opened up and we were now below, right? So I was paying attention to this in pre-market, and then I was like, I didn't have a bearish bias just yet until I seen that we opened below this range. And that's when I was able to start taking my entries on my trades. What's the smallest time frame you'll look for day trades? The 10-minute. I'm not referring to that impulsive move at the balance period. I'm talking about that very large red candle. You saying why I didn't take it here? Is that what you're asking? Or why I didn't take it on this candle? I don't know if that's what you're asking. If you're asking that further up, oh, are you talking about here? This? The very top of the downward trend. I think you either talking about up here or right here. I don't know. I don't know. Where the stock first was when it went under the 9 EMA. I don't know. You gonna have to ask me at the class. This is SPY, by the way. Oh, if I didn't take it, we did. We took SPY puts. We took SPY puts. Once they broke this consolidation, right? But I had got chopped up in this. Yeah, we had took this, right? We was just talking about recently. Yeah, we had already took this trade. This was that big move that happened. This is that huge move that happened before the market came down. Yeah, this is the trade that we took already. All right. So, but like back to focusing on trend lines. I was just showing you guys how you can use it to your advantage. So now let's go to someone asked, what's the difference between the death cross and the golden cross? I'm gonna get to that. Okay, so let's go to another one. All right, so trend lines, there's easy trend lines and there's harder ones, but this is kind of like a channel with trend lines. Does everybody see this? Everybody see like a channel with trend lines? Okay, so this is another good way. I love these as well. So basically it price reaction a channel, and you guys pretty much know what to do. You know, once it gets to the top of this trend line, you know, you take the trade, you take sales there, puts, you take puts there, puts there, you can take puts there, right? And then same thing. But I didn't do all of that. How I traded this was that bear flag that we was talking about a while ago. So I just took it on the break here. You know, I had two different trades here. I took it on the break here. Then when it retested, took it again, and then took it again to catch that momentum to the downside. So that was another way that we did trail lines. It looked a little better here if you wanted to look. So you had that top trail line to make a rejection. Now, do that top trail line, guys, real quick. Is this top trail line still valid? Is this top trail line still valid, guys? Like, can we use that in the future? Right. It never broke, right? Now, what about the bottom one? Can we still use this bottom one? No, right? So that bottom one is gone, right? So now we can take that off our charts, but we can always come back to that bigger trend line and then kind of see how it goes. And I'm gonna show y'all some examples of day trades and how I use trend lines. But guys, that's literally all trend lines is. It's finding points where price came to multiple of times and then taking a rejection there. So here go another one on Boeing. Quick. Same thing here. Bro, why do we keep doing that? Okay, same thing here. This is actually a good play. Like, let me make sure I draw it right. No, it's not that far up. All right, there we go. Okay, so look, guys, right here, we actually at a trend line right now, right? And like I said, now sometimes it's not going to always be perfect. Sometimes they will close above, but actually you could do this one right here if you want to. So we can make our new trend line for Boeing. But do y'all kind of see that now? So we got two different things, guys. We had a rising wedge. We hit the trend line and we broke down. But also, what do we got now? We're at a trend line now, right? So Boeing has two different things Boeing can do. Boeing can either break the trend line or Boeing can break down, right? Why won't we take call on you can anticipate a bounce? Some people do that, but I'm not gonna lie, guys. You know, as I've been getting into trading and just maturing in trading, guys, anticipating a bounce from a trend line, you know, to me, it's just not worth it as much anymore. If that kind of makes sense, it's like because it's kind of annoying because sometimes, you know, what happens is price will probably wick below, like real low below a trend line, and shake you out and just come back. And yeah, especially in a bear market, it's just been kind of hard catching these bottoms. So I haven't really been wanting to do that. But there are times where, you know, I see a trend line, you know, and then it'll touch, you know, maybe once, then twice, and then as price is reaching that trend line, you know, I'll probably, you know, try to, you know, take a bounce or something like that and try to catch it. Or maybe if it made two of them or just made one, maybe, hold on, let's go here. Maybe if it had made its first trail line, you know, it made the second one, and then I'll probably anticipate a bounce and thinking that's a legit trail line. But guys, that's the problem with anticipating on something like that is, you know, you can't get upset if it comes down then, right? You get what I mean? So you can't, people be getting upset about that. Like, you know, it's not a valid trend line. So if you have something like that that happens, then it's not valid. So don't be upset if it does. But I know some people that try to anticipate them, and that's totally fine. But just understand the consequences of doing so. Does grab and go still work? We'll get into that. We'll get into that. Got you. So risk management wise, it doesn't make the bounce cut immediately. Yeah, it's just risk management wise, I want to do the bounce. But so far, all right. So now we're looking at Boeing, right? Is Boeing a valid trend line now? Is Boeing a valid trend line? Right. So, like I said, we have two things that we can do from Boeing from here. We can break or we can reject. Now, how do you know which direction to do? So let's go check, right? If you want to take puts on Boeing, here we go. Take puts. Stop losses above here. Risk to reward is back down where it rejected the first, where it bounced off to get back to that trend line, right? So if you were to take Boeing puts, oh man, hold on. This is what your risk to reward looks like. Pretty good risk to reward on the rejection here, right? But now, why won't I take Boeing puts though? Can anybody tell me why I won't take Boeing puts? Even though, yeah, we're at the trend line now, but why I won't take it? That's number one. It closed above the 9 EMA. So what does that mean? What is a 9 EMA? Like why do we care if it closed above the 9 EMA? Why do we care about that? Because it's bullish, right? If a stock closed above the 9 EMA, that means it's bullish. Also, we have no other confluences that's telling us that we're going to that's telling us that we're going to reject, right? So that's the problem with a lot of traders is they don't have that other confluences to support their reason. Like, yeah, it's at a trend line. Yeah, we know that it's been rejecting this trend line, but at the same time, you know, we don't have no other confluences right now on this time frame, at least on this time frame, to tell us that Boeing is coming down. We don't have no other confluences right now, right? Now, I'm not saying because you see all of this right now, everything look bullish means that it's going to go up, right? But overall, I don't know, right? We don't know that until it gets there, right? And BA and the volume is pretty high too. And BA looks pretty strong. I'm not even gonna lie to you. BA, what is it? BA is only down, not even down 1%. And we were pretty bearish today. So BA is kind of strong. I keep it simple, guys. I use a MacBook Pro, and that's what I got. I got a MacBook Pro and I got some monitors. But somebody asks, what do you mean by confluence? Confluences are things that support your reasoning. So if you are bearish, right? What are things that support you being bearish? So guess what? We took Boeing puts here. So ignore this. We took Boeing puts here. So what confluences did we have to make us bearish when we took puts at Boeing here? Anybody know? What confluences did we have? We had the momentum. We had the momentum shifting down. We had a rising wedge. And then before this part happened, I had my trend line. Hold on. Hold on. This trend line was ugly as hell. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would be lying if I said it was pretty. This wasn't an easy one. Sometimes you will have these ugly ones. The more you trade, the better you would get at, defining which ones are good and which ones are not. But overall, we had this look. Honestly, guys, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even about to draw that. I'm about to just leave it right there. This could have been at least rejecting. You could have anticipated that with checking it. This is a good example of anticipation, I guess you can say. But overall, we had a rising wedge. I'm real transparent with you guys, but we had a rising wedge into this resistance. You don't even got to say trend line. This is a resistance level right here anyway, into resistance. Then we had the momentum shifting to the downside. And then we had in volume increasing on this breakdown, right? So it just gave us extra confluences, right? And we didn't technically get a death cross because the EMA was already under the 9 EMA was under the 21 EMA. So that was already bearish in the first place, right? So the momentum never had caught back up in the first place, right? So guys, that's why we took Boeing puts. So what I mean by confluences, I just mean you want to have multiple reasons that support what you got going on, right? If you're bearish, you want to have multiple things that are showing you bearish. Do I have a list? I never really made a list. I kind of just always teach it, but I guess I can say a list. Normally, when it comes to me confluences, I don't use much things, but confluences is if I'm bearish, I would want a death cross or something on my 9 and 21 EMA. I would want, volume stepping in. I would want my momentum indicator showing me is that it's coming down. I would want price to be rejecting at some type of resistance level or rejecting some type of trend line. That's my bearish confirmations. And golden crosses are literally the opposite. I want price to be bouncing off of some support. I would want price to be golden crosses. I would want volume to be increasing. I would want my momentum indicator to be shifting to the upside. The more confirmation you have, the better the setup. When it breaks the trend line, do you wait until the candle closes, then take the trade, or do you take the trade as soon as it breaks? So that depends on how strong the day is, right? That's a great question. I'm glad. So I'm going to repeat this question for the people that's on class. When it breaks the trend line, so if I were to say, will I take Boeing, right? If it break this trend line, like as soon as it's breaking, will I take it? Or will I wait? Or will I wait? What is it? Or will I wait to take the trade? Now, that depends on the market. So let's say that, because I don't want to give you guys like one thing, like one trade fits all kind of thing. I want to be real transparent with you guys. I will take it on the break if the market is pushing with it. You know what I mean? So tomorrow, if the market decides to be bullish and BA decides that it wants to break above this, start breaking above this trend line, and SPY is pushing, and NASDAQ is pushing, and the Dow is pushing, and just like the whole market is pushing in general, then I will go ahead and take it on the break. Because why now? Why would I take it on the break in that scenario? Why am I taking on the break in that scenario? I have multiple confluences. I have my indexes agreeing with me, right? So yes, I would then take it on the break then. But let's say that Boeing is the only one pushing and the market might be consolidating or something like that. Then no, I will not take it on the break. Because a lot of the trades that I take, guys, I don't take on the break. Normally what I like to do is we might, if Boeing decides to break, a move that we might get is actually something like this. We might break, hit this resistance right here. This resistance, come back, retest the trend line around this support, and then break. And then that's when I would buy right there. You get what I mean? So I'm normally the type of trader that I am, guys. I normally like to buy on the pullbacks. I'm not really a big fan of buying breakouts, but I will buy breakouts if the market is agreeing with the breakout. But normally we might have a move like this where we go here, we check that resistance, retail traders take it short and then think it's going to come back down here. We bounce off this support and then go back up again, right? That's the kind of move that I like taking right there. That's just me. I'm not really a breakout trader, if that makes sense. Did this make sense? Because a lot of time with trend lines, you would, especially with trend line breaks, you have a break, retest, then go up higher, right? That's normally a lot of the times that where you have. And, you know, it takes time, guys. You have to learn how to be patient, right? Price normally comes back to it. So you just got to kind of be patient. And let's say that Boeing don't. Like, I want y'all to get into this mindset as a trader. Let's say that Boeing does not ever come back. Let's say Boeing just go up. What am I going to do then, guys? Somebody said cry. Yeah, I am going to cry. But I'm going to just move on. It is what it is. Go to the gym, you know, go do something fun, right? I'm going to be upset that it happened, but, you know, it is what it is. There's thousands of stocks in the stock market to take. So it's no point in me trying to catch the move. Wait till it come back for me. And if it does, put it this way, if it's meant to be, it'll come back, right? So it's just not meant to be. But hold on real quick. I want you guys to get into like analysis real quick so you can kind of see, you know, let's draw something real quick. I just want to show you guys where they come to trend line breaks. A lot of the times in these retests, look what can happen. I think people already know what I'm about to try to do. What am I about to try to do for people that's been trading with me for a minute? What pattern normally forms on these trend line breaks and retests? Come on, I know somebody gonna get it. Let's see, who about to get it? Nope, not bull flags, not double bottoms. So somebody just said it. What kind of head and shoulders? What kind of head and shoulders though? Inverse, there we go. So if we were talking about a trend line break and retest, that's where we create those inverse head and shoulders, right? So what can happen is we can end up, so we got our trend line, right? So then we can actually create a new trend line we could potentially hit, right? We touch one, touch two. So what can happen is we can have a inverse, our first head, shoulder, boom, retest, and then break out and touch the top of that trend line again. Y'all see that? I know I just probably, I didn't hit somebody with some new stuff now. I know I did. But y'all see how the trend line, like you see how price likes to react, right? Jay, can you explain why you will enter on the trend line and not wait for price to go above the highest price on the breakout? So for me, I don't like to wait for, I'm trying to think why I couldn't write that fast enough. Hold on, guys. I gotta read this question again. It kind of threw me off. Jay, can you explain why you would enter on the trend line and not wait for price to go above the highest price on the breakout? Oh, because when price breaks these trend lines, it runs, right? Like the trend lines, think of the trend line, because I think a lot of you guys looking at trend lines is just a line on the chart instead of an actual resistance level. Like if you were to take a regular trade without trend lines or anything, right? Let's do this right here. If you were to take a regular trade like you would normally take calls if it break above this resistance, right? That's normally what you guys will do, right? You know, it consolidates under, and then your job as a trader is to trade it once it breaks that price. So you take it, right? A trend line is the same thing. That's why I wouldn't even wait for it to break above the price. A trend line is the same thing. A trend line is a resistance level or a support level, guys. So think of it as the same way. It's a resistance level or a support level. Does that make sense? You got to understand these are resistance levels. They just slanted. They just look a different way. Okay. So yeah, now as far as what I just said, I mean, like one time, like I know it sounds confusing right now, but I'm telling you guys will learn it. But overall, you know, you got to start thinking of what makes sense, right? What could actually possibly happen? We're not saying that this is going to happen, but would it make sense for this to happen, right? Would it make sense for Boeing to break this trend line, reject this resistance, to retest it as support, and now that we create an inverse head and shoulders, right? You have to start thinking in possibilities, right? You have to start drawing these things and thinking, would it make sense for something like that to happen? Right? So that's how you have to get in. You have to get in, you know, used to drawing things and just seeing if it happens. And if it don't, it don't. But now I know that will make sense if it does. And then if it does happen, then you will know, you will have that extra confirmation like, okay, wow, like that. You know what I'm saying? It'll start clicking to you. Now, I know if it don't look all good right now and you look confused or whatever, trust me, guys, practice, practice, practice. Keep coming to classes and you guys will get it. So you're saying after a downtrend, price can come back, hit a different trend line. Yes, yes. Then that's why you have to understand, guys, you're going to have trend lines cross each other, right? What is the trade that we swung today? Dash, dash. Look. Hold on, I got y'all. I got y'all. Don't worry about it. I got it. Let me turn this off real quick. These extended hours. Low key a gym. I didn't know I needed to hear. Okay, so dash, right? Let's zoom in. Should I do this on? I feel like I should do this on TradingView because TradingView looks a lot better. Okay. Yeah, let me go on TradingView, guys. Hold on. Let me go on TradingView because it looks a lot cleaner for right now. I would recommend practicing your trend lines on TradingView. Real quick, let me go to Dash right here. I just recommend going straight to TradingView and practice them first until you get better at it. All right, I'm ready to share my screen again. Okay, let's go here. And there we go. Boom. So this is a trend line. This is a time where a trend line, can everybody see my screen correctly? Okay. So look, you see how this trend line, like we had a clear trend line, but then it crossed multiple times, right? It crossed two trend lines. That's why it's good to understand that trend lines can cross, right? So when we look here, you know, we reject it. We reject it here. We reject it. Damn. Hold on, guys. We reject it here. And we reject it here. Right? And then we bounced here. And then we bounced here. And then we bounced here. Right? Do everybody see these? Let me zoom in real quick. How can I make the screen dark on TradingView? It's in the settings somewhere. But real quick, I wanted to show you guys something also, because I know that I'm gonna have some people that say, you know, Jay, right here, you know, it did break above and it closed above. Guys, look, the best way to do it, so I can be so honest with you guys. No, okay. So real quick before I even say that, I don't actually use TradingView for like charting or anything too much. Like, I mean, I use it to like make like charts like this or whatever. But as far as like using indicators with it, no. TradingView, whenever I use TradingView, it's strictly for price action. I do not use the TradingView indicators or nothing. It's strictly price action. I just got the non-EMA on there just because I don't know how to take it off. But other than that, I use TradingView for strictly price action, no indicators. I use TD Ameritrade if I'm going to use indicators. So the reason why is because me and my mentees, we had noticed that whenever we try to find price targets using the EMAs, TradingView gave a different target from TOS, right? So what we did was, instead of that, we just said like, well, that's kind of dumb. Well, TOS been kind of the most reliable to us. So we just stuck with TOS and just used TradingView for like strictly price action, if that makes sense. Like, basically they were giving us two different readings. So we just trust TOS with our indicators. Do you prefer identifying support and resistance levels with extended hours? If so, what is the benefit to either having them on and off? I would say when it comes to support and resistance levels, I tried it with it on, but I wouldn't put too much emphasis on it. Because guys, the way I draw my support and resistance levels is a little different. A lot of people draw them just where they see price at. I kind of draw them. I don't know if you guys are familiar with pivot points. I don't use pivot points, but I kind of draw my support and resistance levels like pivot points. So like, for example, if I'm drawing my support and resistance, this will be a level, this will be a level, and this will be a level, right? Kind of similar to pivot points, because, you know, price reacted to that level. So I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? It kind of, to me, that makes more sense to me. Like, I don't know if that just made sense for you guys, but that's kind of how I like to draw them, at those levels, like at stuff like that, right? Maybe like this as well. You know, that was a level, and then this was a level, this low, and then down here was a level. You see, it's already a level. You see how price came to that level, right? And that's kind of where I got that level from, because price came down here and now we're down here again, right? So that's kind of how I draw mine. I draw it at my levels because you can actually see price reacting to those levels. So it's similar to kind of like pivot points, if that makes sense. I did this yesterday on Tesla, where we were on live trading, and I was like, yeah, Tesla going to 705, and I had drew that level, and it was literally like a pivot level like that. That's how I draw my levels. Yeah. I ain't never told nobody that. So there you go. There you go. You got the gem that you were looking for. But all right, guys. So now when it comes to these rejection points, right, to go back to what I was saying is, I'm gonna have some people that say, well, Jay, you know, price broke above that trend line a little bit. You know, why are you counting that as a trend line? Guys, put it this way, price is never going to be the same, right? At any given point. You know, we might have had more buyers this day than we had up here, right? So that caused price to go up there, but then it's still rejected at the same time. So you got to kind of treat price the same way, guys. You want to like see where it makes sense. You know, yeah, it did break above, but what happened? It rejected it still. So then you count that as a trend line. It ain't gonna be perfect every single time, right? So yeah, did this make sense right here? Do everybody understand how I even drew this? Cool. So now Dash can do either two things. I'm not gonna lie, this was a riskier trade because we want to take puts at what, right? We want to take puts at these rejections, not at these lows, because now that we take puts at lows, what can happen is and I'm just being transparent, right? I told you guys it was gonna be a risky trade, but you know, what can happen is it can be creating a double bottom, and then it actually can bounce off of this level and then break to the upside, right? It can do something like that, and it can break this trend line. But hold on now, hold on. This is why I say, yes, it broke this level, but then when you're drawing it again, always understand, like, even when you draw a level, when it breaks, sometimes price will come back to that level. So this can happen on what is this stock called, Dash. So what can happen on Dash is it can come here, kind of similar to that SPY trade, test that old trend line that it already broke, and then reject it again, right? So Right now, that's a little more advanced. I just want you guys right now to focus on drawing trend lines and getting used to drawing trend lines. And I promise you guys, if you start, like I'm telling you, like I'm not teaching you anything that I don't use on a daily basis. If you practice and you start using trend lines in your trading, you will realize that you are, I'm not saying that you're going to be 100% profitable, but trend lines, I don't know what it is, but it just makes you a little more cautious on taking certain trades, right? It just makes me a little more cautious. Could balance at 67, right? Yeah. So the reason why I took Dash simply was because we created we're talking about the trend now. We had a lower, so we had our high, and then we had our first lower high, lower low, lower high. And right now, I want this to go ahead and break and create a lower low. But like I said, this is risky because we only supposed to take puts at what, guys? We only supposed to take puts at what? Rejections. And what is the rejections normally? What is it? What is lower highs, right? So taking this trade, the best entry would have actually been this right here. As price came back up, we would have took it here at this lower high, and it would have gave us a trend line rejection. That would have been a what? What do I call that type of trade, right? What would I, if I had took it right here, what kind of trade would I have called this? A, y'all something else, man. This would have been an A+ setup, right? We had the trend line rejection. We had a lower high. We had that confirmation, right? It rejected multiple times. This is the third time it touched the trend line. That would have gave me an A+ setup. For the people that's new, Chase Bank is it's a signal that I tell my mentees, right? If I see an A+ setup that nothing is 100% in the market, but you know, some trades are just so like out there that you wouldn't even, it's like so simple that it's like you just kind of feel it in your soul that it's gonna happen. So like even if you lose on it, it's totally fine. But it's just like we call it Chase Bank. And the reason why is because it's pretty much, I'm not gonna say YOLO your account, but put more size than you normally would in normal setups, because this is a very nice setup. So that's what Chase Bank is, because I know people probably confused on what the hell that is. That's what Chase Bank is. So normally whenever I say Chase Bank, that just means that this is a very, 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 very high risk. I mean high reward trade. Very likely to happen. So like the last big trade that we had was like 400% on Tesla, and it was a Chase Bank. So pretty much a lot of people just YOLO their accounts on that trade, and their accounts gapped up 400%. So that's kind of, are you using so okay, so and it all goes into a high reward, right? The criteria is just literally if it has multiple confirmations and everything just adds up, it's making sense, right? So for here, right, we had a breakdown, right? It's just like it's so many things to like do that. And it's actually, we actually did take dash puts, but we took dash puts from up here. We took dash puts from up here and we wrote it down to this trend line, but that's a different story. But for me, for a criteria like that, it just would have to have multiple confirmations, and it would just have to have the most sense, and then have a low risk as well. So like, understand guys, if we had took puts, here, look at the risk to reward on this, right? We had took puts at that rejection point. Our target was that lower down here, that lower area where it rejected our first target. There you go. You had a 4-to-1 risk to reward ratio, right? We had a 4-to-1 on this trade. So we had a nice risk to reward on this trade right here, 4-to-1. And then we had a rejection of the trend line, right? And it was just a nice setup. You get what I mean? We had other things. Maybe the momentum indicator was shifting down as well. Maybe volume, was starting to die down off of this push up. There's a lot of ways to do it, right? For some reason, my chart looked different on mine's. I'm not sure. This is a 4 hour. I don't know if you're on it. This is the 4 hour. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to get all these questions. Can you explain? Yeah, I already explained that. How do you enter a trade? My going opposite. So yeah, when you're entering the trade, you just enter the trade at this lower high, you take puts and you just ride it down, right? How do I know where to put my stop loss is? I put my stop loss above that area that I got in at. So if I got in at this rejection here, then my stop loss is if we break back above that rejection. So that's kind of how I know. But if you're growing the account, I definitely would say, I mean, with any account, I don't care if you're even growing the account, if you're down, especially now, we're getting more into like preserving capital, guys. So if you're down 25% of the trade, anything over that is kind of just, cut it and just rather re-enter instead of just holding that long. Like that was one of the things that I started changing up as a trader is instead of, holding and say, oh, I'm trusting my charts and being down 40%, I'm not letting myself get down 40% no more. That's just me. I'm never going to let myself get down 40%. I would rather cut losses at 15, 20% and then just re-enter rather than being down 40, 50% trying to get that back, right? You have to be in the mindset of that. Visa, when we go on Visa is up 214%, but it did stop us out at what, 25, 24%, right? So I just went ahead and cut it, and I rather would re-enter, right? It's no point of me holding it and, taking that bigger loss, because what happens is price can end up breaking above, consolidate a little bit, then drop back down. But by that time, you're already down so much, it wouldn't even matter no more. So by the time the move happened, you're barely going to be in profit. If anything, still be negative. So it's just, at that point, it just don't make sense to hold. I'd rather just re-enter, right? Don't complicate the stop losses though, guys. It's all about protecting your capital. If you're down 20% on the trade, guys, 20, 25%, guys, cut that trade and re-enter, right? If the trade is still valid, cut the trade and just re-enter. And I know that's something new. I know when I first started teaching, I used to always say, man, trust your charts. I don't care about it. No, times have changed. I'm telling you right now, in these trades that we taking right now, being down 40%, I ain't gonna lie, it's gonna be hard to get that back, especially in the market that we in right now with this IV. So it's a menu. So I normally use for me personally, guys, I normally use a mental stop loss. But if you're a person that is not, at that point to be able to cut your trades, then I will personally use an automatic stop loss. So what I normally do is, let's say that I bought Apple at, $130, and then I know that I only want to lose $30 on this trade, then I set my stop loss at 1.00. So that means I will lose $30 on this trade. You get what I'm saying? So you can do stuff like that. That's a great way to do it. Another thing is setting stop losses at break even. That's a great tool. That is probably one of the best advice I have for you guys, to start setting your stop losses at break even. You might get stopped out a lot, but overall, it'll definitely help you with risk management. So what I mean by that is, let's say that you bought Apple calls at $130, and then Apple goes to $140, setting your stop loss at 130. So that means if Apple pull back, it'll just stop you out. If you have problem with holding losers, I would definitely recommend using a hard stop loss. And then as you grow, your risk management will get better. Your mindset, your psychology as far as losses will get better. And then you're able to do mental stop losses, right? But that's, it all depends on the type of trader you want to be. Are you entering on the 4 hour or the smaller time frame? So for me, it's a little different. Normally what I do is, I know this is going to sound crazy, but I enter on whatever time frame that I want to. But generally I like to enter at least on the 15-minute or the 1 hour chart. But sometimes I will enter on the 4 hour. It literally just depends. Like, I'm not really, super huge on, entries. I think people complicate entries a lot, right? I think people overcomplicate entries, guys. Draw the level and just take it, and go from there. Normally, as far as entries, when it comes to entries, guys, this is literally how it's supposed to work, right? We have our trend line on the 4-hour and we have a rejection. So now I'm gonna come down to that lower time frame. Obviously, that trend line is not going to be the same on the 1 hour because when we come here, it never touched, right? So how do we take a trade if it hasn't even touched that trend line on the lower time frame? Well, now on the lower time frame, that's when you're using your levels, right? Is it at a resistance level, right? Is that lower time frame at a resistance level? And we know that on the 4-hour, price is now at a trend line. So now we got the trend line rejection. Now it's at a resistance level on the 1 hour. You can take the trade from there. You get what I'm saying? So the whole purpose of entries and exits, guys, is to identify something on a time frame and then come to the lower time frame and see if you can see something on that lower time frame that supports that bigger time frame. So if I want to take puts from a bigger time frame, I'm coming to the lower time frame to see if it's at like some type of level or some type of bearish thing that's going to tell me to take puts. A lot of people overcomplicate entries and exits, right? People be thinking I have some type of indicator or anything that tells me, like today on CVX, right? Let's go to CVX. Actually, we're gonna wait to go back on that. I'm gonna do that on TOS. I'm gonna do that on TOS. I'm gonna show y'all on TOS. Yeah, so I swung puts because I'm thinking that we're gonna create a lower low. I think we're going to create a lower low. I mean, obviously, I understand if like if I lose simply because we are at this level and we could be creating a double bottom. It is what it is, but I do think that we're going to create a lower low. And also, if you go, I'll show y'all in a minute, but if you go here, we have an H pattern as well on the daily time frame. So it looks just like that picture that I sent you guys. And people be asking me all the time, Jay, like, how do you understand chart patterns? You see what I did? I thought it was the H pattern. I went on Google, looked at H patterns, seen if I seen any picture that looks like that pattern that I think it is. And once I think they look alike, I take the trade. It look alike to me. I take the trade. I still go on Google and look at patterns. People literally forget this part. Like, go on Google and look through all them images until you can find the image that look like what you think it is. Hold on. Somebody asks, would you rather draw trend lines or patterns? Both. I don't have a type of mindset to where, I only want to draw patterns or I only want to draw trend lines. Actually, I kind of like when a pattern and trend line are together, right? So I like having bear flags at a rejection of a trend line. I like having double bottoms right here. Look at this. This was a double bottom. It didn't fully work all the way, but if you traded it as a double bottom, you would have made money, right? This is a double bottom, right? We had a trend line, we bounced here, bounced there, and look, we had a little double bottom right here, and we bounced up. We would have still caught this trade. From here to here this is 100, maybe 200% trade right here, right? So stuff like that. Biggest issue is being up crazy percentages and letting the profit turn negative. If you have that problem, guys, you have to start setting stop losses in profit, right? Chase and start practicing that. It sucks when you get stopped out, but start practicing that. Put your stop losses at break even, guys, or raising your stop losses, right? If I'm in Apple and I bought it at 130 and now it's at 200, raise your stop loss to 190, raise your stop loss to 195. Raise that stop loss so that way you can start keep catching bigger moves. And after time, you will get better at it. Like trading, that's one thing I love about trading, guys, is it's like it's like getting better every day, 1%, right? Just building good habits. That's one thing I love about trading. Just little bitty things that you do, it just adds up and compound over time, right? And that's one thing that I love about it. And then eventually you will get good. Like now, I got to a point where I don't have to raise my stop losses manually. I just mentally raising it in my head. Now, sometimes, I might be traveling or something. I have to go ahead and raise my stop loss by me, a hard stop loss and do it manually. But once you get to a point where you've been doing it for so long and you understand how it works, you don't really need that no more. You can kind of just do it on your own, like from a mental standpoint. Because the problem with that is, you know, I told you guys, trading is a mental game, right? So I just answered this question. Would you rather draw trend lines or patterns? I want both. So there's not a one is better than the other. You know, I like them when they're together. So if I see a trend line, I'm gonna draw it. But I want y'all guys for homework. I want you all, like, I know people don't do homework. Please, guys, do the homework tonight. I want you to go and for homework tonight, go up and draw 10 charts and draw trend lines, right? Draw trend lines on 10 charts. How did I get good at charts? I literally come here and I practice charts. Even now, even with my account size the way it is now, I'm on the charts more than some. I don't even need to be on the charts like that no more. If we being honest, I don't need to be on the charts like that no more, but I'm still on the charts all the time on my days off. Whenever I get an opportunity, I'm on the charts. Whenever I'm bored, I'm on the charts, right? I'm perfecting my craft. And then eventually you're gonna get to a point where charts start being second nature to you. You start understanding how to read charts properly. And it's no shortcuts with this. You know, you're only gonna get out what you put in, right? I have issues with exits. Exits, I'm telling y'all, do not overcomplicate trading. Exits, all exits is I have a rule of thumb where I always, for example, like today, let's go over today. Today in CVX, we had it go up after a while, CVX ended up going up 30%. You know, most traders take profit at 30%, 20%. That's totally fine. But me looking at the charts, I know that it has more room to run. So my rule of thumb for me is I always trim at 50%, and then I take everything at 100%. Everything or a lot on my position at 100%, right? As soon as CVX hit 100%, what did I say? I said sell. I said sell, leave runners if you can afford it, right? Because I've already mentally prepared my mindset. So I don't like, and yeah, it sucks when you take profits at 100% and see it run up to 300. You know, it is what it is. That's why you just leave runners and see if you can chase it. But overall, my mindset, it just won't allow me to go past 100% return, guys. Even if I know it has more room to go, you know, it's just like I'm naturally going to take profits. I'm going to trim at 50 and I'm going to trim at 100% or take all my profits, right? And that's just how I am. Now, if you have a problem with exits, mainly because you need to probably paper trade more, because a lot of times, which I get on mentees about this, is, you know, letting your winners run, right? You have these levels, let your winners run to these levels, guys. You have them for a reason. Let them run to it. They're going to go there, right? They're going to go there. How many times have you took profits too early and it went to exactly where you thought it was going to go? How many times? It went exactly to where you said it was going to go, but you took profits too early. That's what I'm saying. So you have to get used to it. And maybe you can't do it right now, but guys, understand, paper trade it. Paper trade it. Let the targets run on your paper trading account. Do this for so long, I promise you're going to be, all right, I'm going to let it run this time, right? And over time, you will get so much better at it. I want to show you my chart because mine look different. Send it. If you can send it to me, that'll be fine. Do we submit the homework in the channel? Yes. BWSO, you as well. You guys submit it in your homework channels as well. Good traders always leave money on the table all the time. You know how many times I didn't left money on the table? Like, I don't know if you guys remember when I had made $108,000 on NDX on one trade. I left all money on the table on that trade. I could have made $1 million on that trade probably if I would have held. That trade dropped. I mean, them puts went up crazy. But I left money on the table. You're going to leave money on the table, guys. Hold on. Somebody asked me, how would you know a contract will go up over 200% prior to entry? Your target. That's all it is. I don't know that it's going to go to 200%, but if you guys come to class like you're supposed to and just watch how I trade, I'm being honest, guys, I only take trades that have a 100% return potential, right? I don't think y'all ever noticed that. Like, Jay, why do 90% of your trades go 100% return? Because I only take trades that will give me enough room to make that, right? Some of you guys trade trades like this. Let me show you. And nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying. Some of you guys will take, let's go to Amazon. Oh, damn, they split. Wait, they chart still might look the same though. Hold on. Let's go to Amazon. Okay, here it is. I see this too many times, right? Finna show y'all real quick. You want to see 1,000% trade? Got you. Okay. So this is why, this is the difference between me and the traders that I meet, right? Okay. So let's say that Amazon was selling off, right? And they have a support level right here. So they're going to take Amazon puts right here to right there, basically. So they're going to enter here. I'm about to just show y'all. This is what most traders that I meet do. So they're going to enter here. Oh, damn. They go like, yeah, I'm taking Amazon puts here. Okay, this candle. Y'all see this candle I'm talking about? I'm finna show y'all. I'm finna show you exactly the difference between me and y'all friends. Y'all see what I'm talking about? This candle here. Right. So this is what most people do, right? They take puts from here to here. They make whatever they make and they all happy, right? They all happy. They take puts here, they're entering here, and their target is here, right? And that's that they won. They fine with that. That's totally fine. But me personally, I don't want that. I want the biggest move. That's not a big enough move for me. That to me, I want, like, when I trade, I think of risking my capital, guys. I think of my capital. I think of every trade that you take, understand that you're risking money. You're literally putting yourself at risk to lose money. So for me, taking it right there, it's right there. Yeah, I won, but I mean that move wasn't really enough for me to want it, right? Versus me, I took the trade here. I'm like, all right, I'll let it come to that level. I'm like, okay, we can bounce off this level. We can go to this neckline. So for me, the risk reward from here to here is way better. I'm gonna risk my capital on this trade. I don't want that small little profit. I don't want that. I want the highest percentage I can get. So if I have to wait a couple of days, which I did, because I actually did, the reason why I'm showing you this exact trade is because this actually happened in the chat. One of our admins had called this trade to here, and they won. Totally fine. This is what, 30%? It was actually a nice little trade. I'm not even gonna lie. This is a nice little trade. They caught it. Boom. That was what they wanted to do. Me, I'm like, I'm gonna wait till I get to that level and then see if we can hold, and I'll take the double bottom instead. Right? And what happened? I had to be a little more patient, but it paid off in the long run. Right? This is a $70,000 trade. You get what I mean? So I want you guys to understand that the difference on, taking those trades, right? I want you guys to understand the difference. It requires you to be a little more patient, but you're able to make those higher returns, right? And that is what my whole trading strategy is about. So where did you enter on that trade on the first day? So actually, this is actually how I entered this trade, right? So I let it sell off to that day. And then later on that day, we had this, this candle, right? Later on that day, it literally wicked all the way up. Like Amazon was pretty much, it fell below that level. And then it started claiming below. And then right before close, we seen that it was clearly going to open up. I mean, it was going to close above this support. So I went ahead and took, and I think at the time, the momentum indicator was shifting up and volume was decreasing. And I think SPY was bouncing as well, if I can believe. And as it closed above this level, that gave me confirmation to swing, right? And this was my risk to reward. See, guys, I am a risk to reward trader. I'm only going to trade things that give me the highest risk to reward. I took Amazon right here above around that close with a target here, right? Remember, where did I get that target from, guys? The neckline is what? The neckline is what, guys? The neckline is what? The neckline is what? A magnet. Just look at it. It's a magnet, right? So my risk to reward looked like this, right? I'm risking 1 to make 10. You see what I'm saying, guys? This is how I trade. I'm a risk reward trader. If it has the if it look like it can benefit me the most, I'm gonna take this trade, right? I'm risking $1 to make $10 instead of risking $1 to make one. You get what I'm saying? So that's what I want people to understand, guys. I want people to understand and think in terms of risk to reward. If you start thinking in terms of risk to reward, you will make more money. Why? Because you're more confident in taking those trades, right? Let's see. So can you show us how to find those A+ trades, please? Do you have a recording already? I'm gonna see if what I got in my, I got a lot of videos on YouTube that people can't see, so I always check. How many contracts did you buy on this one? How many contracts? I can't even remember. This wasn't, I didn't catch this. Like I didn't, how did I trade this trade? This was a minute ago. It wasn't 70K all at once. I think the first one, I caught to the non-EMA, if I can believe, and then I sold there, something like that. And I made like maybe 27,000, and then I took it again, swung it again, and this is like 3 trades to make 70K total. So not all in one trade. I couldn't hold this all in one trade. Like it was multiple trades, but this was over, how many, like percentage wise, it's like 500, almost 700 to 800%, like in total gains on this move up. This is the daily time frame. I couldn't hold that long. I ain't that crazy. It's only been one time where I held Amazon over 3 days and I had made 52 grand. That's back when I used to trade on Robinhood too. How do you come up with that trade? Oh, easy. I mean, you got to understand, guys. If we're in a downtrend and we fail to make another lower, if we fail to make a lower low, that creates a double bottom, right? If we're in a downtrend, like I want you guys, like, don't complicate it. Y'all calm down. Y'all don't complicate it. If we're in a downtrend, right? And we make a lower low, and then we come back and test that high and come back and we can't make another lower low. Like we supposed to continue a downtrend, guys. We're supposed to keep going down and make another lower, make a low, right? We're supposed to come down here and make a lower low. This low is supposed to be lower than this low, right? We're supposed to make that. But if we don't make that and we come back to that level equally, that gives us a double bottom. So that's exactly what I did on this trade. We came down, and then we made another lower high, and then we came back to try to make another lower low. As you can see, we couldn't make that. So the only other place for it to go is up. If price refused to go lower, the only way to go is up, guys. The only way to go is up, right? You have to think in terms of the trend. That's why following the trend is important. How much capital did you start with? I started with $2,000 when I first started. But understand, guys, I am only 22 years old. So back when I started trading, I was young and pretty much I still don't, if we're being honest, I didn't have no responsibility. I didn't have like no really bills, no big bills or anything. So I was able to put, pretty much everything that I make in the market. I had to literally, my Camaro had got, I had a Camaro at the time. It was like $700 a month. And I had got my Camaro. It had, my mindset was just let them repossess it so I can have that extra money to put in the market. So pretty much it's just, so yeah, I put, the first time I ever put money in my account, it was like 2,000, but I don't like to tell people I only started with 2,000 because I definitely was adding in money over time. But if it makes you feel better, I only made 8,000 on my tax return. I had only made $8,000 from working. So it obviously wasn't more than $8,000. It probably was. I was doing Instacart and stuff, but that was little money and stuff like that. It wasn't that crazy. Agment. Catch y'all later, back to work. All right, guys, this will be uploaded. We need a swing session deciding when the appropriate. Yeah, I got you. We could do a swing session. Yeah, Amazon is at that level again as well. So something can happen at that level, but who knows? But also the trend is kind of messed up now because understand, guys, we came down here, you know, we made a lower high, and then we couldn't make another lower low, so we created just another low, and we bounced, and we actually broke that previous lower high, but now we're back at that level. So that makes it harder to like kind of dictate what's going to happen next, because we broke that previous lower high. So the trend is now kind of messed up. But that's where you can start trying to see if you can see anything else to try to gauge where Amazon is going. See if we can find some trend lines or anything. So boom, what do we have, right? We have a, hold on, guys. Hold on. And we're going to have another trend line class as well. We're going to have a couple of these, but I want you guys to do the homework so I can at least see where we're coming from. So as I can see right there, another trend line on Amazon. So if Amazon decides to hold this level, where is it going, guys? If Amazon decides to hold this level, where is it going? Where is it going, guys? Test the trend line, right? It's going to go test that trend line. So that's why we're just waiting for it to test. You do have two trading opportunities here, right? If the market, hold on. I got you guys. If the market decides to be bullish tomorrow, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what the market about to do tomorrow. Like I don't know. So don't ask me. I have no clue. I don't know. But if Amazon decides to hold this level, then you can draw your risk to reward, see if it's worth the trade to the trend line, right? To that level, stop loss if it breaks that level, and give you a little trade, right? Give you a little something, you know, a little trade. Ain't got me nothing crazy. Give you a little trade. It's a pretty good trade though, you know, for Amazon right now. So hold on, you're doing trend lines on the bottom and the top of candles. Pretty much, yes. How long do you like holding your swings? Everybody know me. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm a buy today, sell tomorrow trader. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I do not like holding my trades long at all. That's just me. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just can't hold my trades that long. Like I kind of like, if it ain't working right away, I kind of want to cut it. Just me. I don't like looking at the red P&L for. I don't like looking at the red P. It's something about the red P&L for me. Like I just can't. And like I said, over time I would get better. Okay, so we got some questions. Okay, so real quick. So before I get to these questions, because I already knew they was coming, really quickly, guys. Did you guys understand trend lines? Yes, I always look at the homework. Do y'all like feel like you understand them right now? Now I know the complicated one's going to take a little more time. Like right here, finna give y'all another trend line. We have another one going upside. So we had rejection here, rejection there. So if Amazon decides to break, it can break there and then touch that trend line, right? So I know it gets a little more complicated, guys, but overall, just practice on finding rejection points and or bottoms where it bounces off of, and look for 3 touches. Now, I have a team. I don't think people understand this. Send your homework. BWSO is not that many of you guys, so I can actually look through y'all's. But as far as the mentorship, you guys know that we have, it's not just me looking at the homework. So we're able to get through all of you guys. If you send the homework, we're able to look at all of them. It's about what is it, 10 of us? So we all go through the homework and everything. So please do your homework. I want 10 charts from everybody. Like, I'm so serious. And you guys know, if I DM you, that obviously means that I'm DMing you for a reason. So please respond if I'm DMing you, because I'm DMing you telling you, hey, your homework, you know, you need to work on this, or you need to do this better. Or sometimes I will react to it. You know, if I put a thumbs down, you need to retry it. Or I just don't agree with it. You know, you have to really, you know, start doing your homework, guys. You know, just do it. And that way, that's the only way you're gonna get better at it. Oh yeah, I forgot some of you. So BWSO, you guys can either put it in the homework tab, or you can just DM my Discord. You can DM you can DM me. I would prefer it to be in the homework tab. It's a little easier to get to it there. No, for the so we have 2 different chats in here, guys. Calm down. So I really want to, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I kind of want to do tomorrow. I kind of want you guys to practice that if you have time tonight in the morning. We do have class tomorrow, so I kind of want homework to be done before class tomorrow. and go from there. So the homework is to draw at least 10 trend lines on 10 different charts. So don't try to draw it on all one chart. No, go to 10 different companies and try to find 10 different trend lines. And I don't want it. I know I'm gonna have that one person that's going to be like, oh, Jay, I can't find any. I'm telling you right now, it's 1,000 some companies. It's trend lines on. You can find 10 companies with trend lines. I don't want to hear it. There's no excuses. And if you can't find, if you seriously cannot find them, that's different. That's different. If you seriously can't find them, any time frame, they could be on any time frame. Now I know some of y'all be cheating, guys. I want you to start looking for them on the bigger time frames. Some of y'all would try to go to the 5 minute or whatever, guys. Go get some nice trend lines, right? Go find some nice ones, not the little bitty 5 ones. But other than that, so now I'm about to take these questions. The smallest, I would say the smallest is 15 minute. Stick to the bigger ones though. Don't go down to the 5 minute or the 1 minute. Yes, this one will be uploaded at night, but I'm about to stop the class and I'm about to answer some questions and then we're going to be done for today. But I hope everybody understands trend lines. We will have about 5 more classes on trend lines. But I want to see that right now. It's hard. It's hard going over trend lines because I want to see where you guys are at, right? So we're gonna, y'all know I do multiple classes over one topic because I feel like one class is not enough to understand something. But I need to see where you guys are at. So for example, real quick, let me show y'all a trend line that I drew. If you draw these trend lines, you get bonus points if you draw some crazy stuff. So this one was a trend line. This is a little more advanced. So we had a touch right here, a touch right there, and then we had touches right here. And then we broke the trend line and came back and retested it. And now we're selling off from it. You make something like this, I don't know, you might be ahead of the game, right? If you find some of the more advanced ones. Yeah, that retest was beautiful. Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. When you get good at it, I'm telling you, it's like the most rewarding thing. But hold on, let's go draw another one right here. Look. Okay, not everybody gonna agree with that. My bad. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna have, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna have stuff like this, guys. It's all good. You know, draw where it make the most sense. That if it rejected like this, look, I'm adding that as a trend line as time, but I don't recommend that you do this all the time. When you get better at it, then you can start drawing trend lines that actually break out a little bit. But I want you guys to practice on making good trend lines right now. So don't do nothing like that. Find good trend lines. How do you pick strike prices for the huge returns? So the ones for the huge returns is, my rule of thumb is pick strike prices that you think the stock price is going to. So like if I think like for example, I would have picked the Exxon 92 put when Exxon was at $96 because I thought it was going to 92. As you can see, Exxon went to 92. Those contracts were up 100, 200%, right? So just go from there. Yes, I told y'all, like, people don't know who Zambell is. Zambell is one of my mentees. She became a mod as well. So she teach classes and she's able to teach classes as well. But she started just like you guys learning trend lines and she mastered them. Like, I mean, she's cold at trend lines. That's all she draws is trend lines. So don't tell me that you can't do it because she didn't know how to trend lines at all and now she's doing it. This will be on YouTube tonight. Why did you keep the trend line after it broke? Because remember what I said earlier today. You know, sometimes you can always use, you can delete it if you want to, right? Just while you're practicing. But when you get a little more advanced, you will notice that price likes to react to those trend lines again. Just because it broke, price comes back and react to it as well, right? I'm trying to think of a good one that we just had with Microsoft. Microsoft had one. I'm trying to think. Microsoft was on the hourly, wasn't it, guys? The puts that we took on Microsoft. I can't even remember. What trade was that we took Microsoft off of, guys? I can't remember. I don't know. I'll find it for you guys. I'm gonna send y'all some examples of my trend lines as well. I don't think we could post in homework to BO's channel well if I'm unable. Only Lawrence has access unless I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm gonna check it in a minute. And as soon as we get off of here, I'm gonna tell you guys where to submit the homework in BWS. So should we make trend lines in the daily? If you want to, you can make trend lines on a daily. I would recommend starting with the daily. That's the best time frame to start on, and then you get better as you go. The daily is like the best. Like, it's just a lot cleaner. rather than these smaller time frames. Those are a little more advanced. I would probably start from the daily. Okay, we could do the study group then. BWSO, we could do the study group. Mentees, you already know where to put. Somebody asked, how long for expiration day? It depends on how long you think it'll take to make the move. For me, like I said, I trade weeklies, guys. I'm not trying to, go off of nobody else's teachings. I trade weeklies, just because the way I structure my trades, I trade that, I think the stock price realistically can go to within that weekly time frame. And that's kind of how I structure my trades. So obviously, if you go with weeklies, you're going to get the higher return because, the closer it is to expiration, the move really matter. So like, for example, if we would have took monthlies on CVX today, we probably would only be up maybe 5-10%, but we took weeklies and they expire tomorrow. So it was able to go 100% quickly. But right now, guys, I wouldn't start trading weeklies just yet until you kind of understand trading and feel more confident in what you're doing. Because if you don't know how to properly trade, weeklies will blow your account. I'm being honest. If you don't know how to properly trade, weeklies will blow your account because they go down so quick and everything. So you have to learn how to trade. So make sure you're showing up to the classes or whatever, and then you'll be able to manage weeklies properly, right? There's a way to do it. Let me stop this recording and then I'll answer the last questions.